This is the Media Police Post, broadcasting from the Fort Hall School of Government. In this show, we police the state of truth in the Republic. And because truth is communicated to us by journalists and analysts, we have made it our civic duty to put it to the test. We advance from two confirmed truths about the media. One, and according to Roger Stone, the media is either lazy or evil. And for the most part, it is both evil and lazy. That is why the truth, their truth, must be put to a test.
And two, that journalism is verified gossip. In fact, what is presented to us as news analysis is gossip that has been verified by journalists. This gossip has to be ground truthed. We will assess the state of truth in what they submit to the Republic, and we will pass verdict on what is true and what is not. For the record, we are not journalists. We are thinkers. We are not lazy or evil, and we do not verify gossip. What we give you is the truth that sets you free.
On today's show, we will discuss ideas that reflect unformed and uninformed opinions and ideas that made you stupid. Narratives that fell into the cognitive trap of we see things as we are, not as they are. Narratives based on conjecture history and those that smack of envelope journalism. Welcome, AX and Ms. K.
Thank you.
So, the Standard reports that more than 100 Jubilee MPs allied to Mr. RUTO will resign tomorrow, that is the 8th of February. Now, we know that according to Articles 101 and 103 of the Constitution and Section 16(3) of the Elections Act, that a member who has resigned will be deemed to have vacated their seat. And to fill that seat, a by-election will be held. The law is very clear on this point. And so such an action represents a costly political gamble. Gambling is the art of getting nothing for something. And according to Benjamin Disraeli, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom under Queen Victoria, and I quote, "There is no gambling like politics." This is because gambling adheres to the two cardinal rules of gambling. First, in gambling, as with politics, the house or the state always wins. This is the golden rule. Second, and according to Professor Mutai Nguni, you should never gamble what you can't afford to lose. This is the platinum rule of gambling. Therefore, what exactly are the Tanga Tanga crew risking? According to Article 103, they are risking their jobs, but it goes much further than this. First, they will be risking their influence. Remember that they are gambling guaranteed parliamentary seats, not for a guaranteed UDA ticket, but the right to be nominated. This is because when Duale, Wahome, and even RUTO resign, they are not resigning to be nominees. They are resigning to be ordinary party members who have to go through party primaries like everyone else. This is like leaving your spouse to become somebody else's mistress. Thankfully, resigning UDA members can seek advice from Musalia on this very matter. Second, the Tanga Tanga crew are risking losing a by-election. According to Article 101, when a seat in Parliament is vacated, a by-election will be held to fill the seat. The Speaker will have 21 days to notify IEBC of the vacancy, and IEBC has 90 days to run the election. This means that we could have a mini general election in the next 3 months. A mini general election that the likes of Kuria, Barasa, and Nyoro could lose. And if they lose a by-election, what chance do they have of being nominated for a UDA ticket in the general election? So can the Tanga Tanga posse afford to lose not just their seats, but their party standing as MPs and a by-election? And if the answer is no, then why would they take this risk at all? Well, here's the thing, there's a catch. According to Article 101 of the Constitution, it also prevents the IEBC from filling the vacancy 3 months before the next general election. This means that IEBC cannot hold a by-election after May 9th. Now, is it possible that the UDA flower girls are betting on IEBC not completing the by-election until after May 9th? If they are, they have forgotten the golden rule of gambling: the house or the state always wins. They are not betting against IEBC, they are betting against the state. Specifically, the state's ability to marshal and corral resources against the mosquito that has been buzzing in its ear for the last 2 years. It stands to reason that if the state can help you win an election, the state can also make you lose an election. And this is the fate that will befall the resigning MPs. Therefore, to the gambling MPs, remember this: the state always wins, and never gamble what you can't afford to lose.
Very, very wise words there. So I'm going to go on a different trajectory, one that has been followed by our friend. So according to our friend, Professor Makau Mutua, the ICC is once again hovering ominously over William Ruto's head. In fact, it is coming for William Ruto, and we agree with him. We agree with Makau Mutua for one simple reason. Paul Gesheru has snitched on William Ruto at the ICC and negotiated a plea bargain, meaning he will be testifying against William Ruto. To think he has not is to delude ourselves. So come, let us reason together for a moment. The ICC issued Gesheru's warrant of arrest on March 2015, but Gesheru surrendered to the ICC in November 2020, 5 years later. Gesheru had been a wanted man for 5 years. What caused his sudden change of heart? Why would a man take himself to The Hague to be incarcerated if he had not worked on a plea bargain deal? Yet, in the meantime, if he had stayed home, he would have continued to be a respectable lawyer and the chairman of the board of the Export Processing Zones Authority. So according to rational choice theory, people calculate the costs and benefits of their choices when making critical decisions. And a person will only carry out an action or make a decision when the benefits of that action outweigh its costs. So Paul Gesheru is a rational man, and after 5 years as an ICC fugitive, if he chose to submit himself to the court, it was because it was in Gesheru's best interests to do so. And one more thing. If Paul Gesheru could snitch on his friend from high school, then we would like to send a notice to Joshua Sang. The ICC is coming for you with the intention of doing a plea bargain. And if Sang is in any way implicated by Paul Gesheru, then he will bargain for a lenient sentence and then give Ruto in as an ICC witness. What is my point here? Just like in 2013, the ICC is coming for William Ruto. But this time, once Ruto goes to The Hague, he's not coming back. This is because Ruto's case was not dismissed. It was simply frozen in time. The presiding judge declared it a mistrial because of witness interference and witness intimidation, and Paul Gesheru is the key that will unlock it. In negotiating for a plea bargain, our hypothesis is that Gesheru has told the ICC everything about the 2008 violence and how it was engineered from Kiambaa to Molo. Gesheru has revealed what he knows and how they interfered with the witnesses. Even the ICC prosecutor has said that the witness interference was conducted for the benefit of and in coordination with William Ruto. But what does this trajectory mean? If Paul Gesheru offers himself as ICC witness, then turns himself in for ICC protection, William Ruto will be Boiro. And the icing on the cake will be Joshua Sang coming out to say that he knows what he knows under plea bargain and witness protection. Good people, politics is just heating up. And as Professor Makau Mutua ended his Sunday article, get your popcorn, amigos.
Now, let us talk about the elections. The 2022 presidential election could extend until January 23rd, 2023. And if it does, then there will be no election. Allow us to explain using game theory. We will play the election forward, then rationalize it backwards. Let us begin with the best case scenario. In this scenario, elections are held on August 9th. About 4 days later, on 13th August, the results are announced. No candidate will get 50% plus one, which means we go to a runoff. But even before we do so, the results of round one will be challenged in court. It will take 21 days for the case to be concluded. And on 3rd September, the courts uphold the results. We then proceed to a runoff after 30 days on 3rd October. A runoff is a fast past the post affair. And so about 4 days later, on 7th of October, we will find out who the winner is. But you can still take it to the bank that Kenyans will go to court. And if the court upholds the results after 21 days on October 28th, then the next president will be sworn in around the 8th of November. However, this green scenario happens in a legal utopia where courts do not nullify elections, and precedents have shown us that this constitution will give us twists and turns in every election. This leads us to the realpolitik scenario. Again, elections are held on August 9th. There is no clear winner, so we must have a runoff. And of course, the results of round one will be challenged in court. But this time, the court nullifies the election, and we are forced to hold fresh elections on the 2nd of November 2022. Once again, no candidate achieves 50% plus one when the results are announced around the 6th of November. But even before we go to a runoff, we go back to court to contest the results of the fresh election.
Yeah.
This takes 21 days, and this time on 27th November, the court uphold the results and will proceed to a runoff after 30 days on 27th December 2022. The results of the runoff are announced on 2nd January 2023. Then, like clockwork, we go to court to contest the results of the runoff. This again takes 21 days, and on 23rd of January 2023, the judgment will be read. If the election extends to the 23rd of January 2023 and the court nullifies the election, then we will have a constitutional crisis. This is because IEBC will not be properly constituted, and therefore it will not be able to hold a valid election. Why is this? The 6-year terms of office of Wafula Chebukati, Professor Gulier, and Boya Molu would have expired on 18th of January 2023. This will leave the IEBC with only 4 commissioners. And according to the Court of Appeal, IEBC must have a quorum of 5 commissioners to be properly constituted. Unless the Supreme Court overturns this ruling to allow for a quorum of less than 5, we will have a problem. But you also still have a problem once Chebukati's term expires. You do not have a chairperson, and the chairperson is the presiding officer in the presidential election. Some may argue that the president can appoint a new IEBC chair, but according to Article 134 of the Constitution, as from August 9th, 2022, the president assumes the position of temporary incumbent. As temporary incumbent, the president will have no power to appoint chairpersons of constitutional commissions. This means that the election will not be completed. It will be a stillbirth. And that is the crisis we face. Thank you for joining us on the Media Police Post. Journalists, you've been put on notice. See you next Monday.